Everybody, and welcome to our very special Beauty, Hair and Spa Awards webinar. We are speaking today to Susan Fox, who is the owner of Eden Beauty Group, because Susan won 2 of our Beauty, Hair and Spa Awards last year. So she's going to chat to us today about what winning an award, or 2 awards actually, has done for her business. So hi Susan, you're very, very welcome.
Hi, how are you? Apart from putting a big smile on my face every time you say it, when you say I won 2 awards.
Yes, still very proud of it.
We are very proud.
Yeah, so we're going to go through some different questions with you. I suppose let's start with maybe if you can tell us briefly about your own business, maybe the background and where you're at today.
Yeah, sure. So I trained in 1987. I hate saying that because it ages me, but so I'm 5 years in the business at this stage as a beauty therapist. And then I opened my own clinic, Eden Beauty Group, on the main street in Wicklow Town 22 years ago. Over time, that's evolved. So we now have a distribution business as well as the clinic. And we distribute a whole range of skincare, including Casmara skincare and beauty equipment, such as Cutest Lift radio frequency, Permavay microneedling, and a whole host of other equipment. And we provide training as well.
Brilliant. And I know I asked you this before because we did a webinar before during those lovely COVID times.
Lockdown days.
Yeah, you still I know, because you obviously you're running the business. Do you still do one day in the salon, like treating clients?
Yeah, I do an afternoon and evening. To be honest, if I could do more, I would. I'd love to. I actually still, my favorite thing to do is be in the room with the client. But to be honest, the business at this stage is getting so big that literally, yeah, one afternoon is as much as I can manage at the moment.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to check that because I know we spoke about that before, and you were making the point that like you can't do both. You have to kind of pick.
Yeah, you really do. I'm always torn because, as I say, I really enjoy it. And I think it's really important to stay connected to my clients. So I still do the one afternoon and evening, but just from a time point of view and running the business properly, you have to step back, which is really difficult.
Okay, so as we mentioned, you won 2 awards last year. You won the Business Director of the Year and then Beauty Salon or Spa Team of the Year. And I wanted to ask you why you decided to, because you know, as we keep telling people that you can enter more than one category. So how come you zoned in on those 2 particular ones?
Well, I suppose I went through the list, and the business director, I suppose, was a kind of straightforward one for me because, as it's just said, I've been in the beauty business in Ireland for 33 years. So I just kind of felt that the breadth of what I had done, that there's probably very few people who've done as vast an array of things. I'm a therapist, I'm a salon owner, I'm a distributor, I'm a trainer. So I just felt that was a very good fit for me. And anybody who knows me knows that I eat, breathe, sleep my business. I'm a bit of a workaholic. So I loved the idea of going for that one. And then the salon team, we were just out of COVID. I have a brilliant team, and I mean, I didn't need anyone to tell me that, but like everybody else coming back from COVID, it had been very stressful. The girls had been through so much, and they're all amazing therapists, but they're just the nicest bunch of people. And they are so good to each other and support each other. I think as working women in particular, it's hard enough to go to work and do your job under those circumstances. But then when you're trying to juggle families and children, we had a particularly tough year that year in that some of my girls had bereavements. Some of them had relationship difficulties. We had all sorts of different things. And on a daily basis, they stayed so professional, but they were so kind and supportive of each other. I just felt it was the perfect one for us to go for.
Okay, so you settled on 2 then. That was kind of enough.
I just thought it'd be rude to enter them all, Karina.
Yeah, so you zoned in on 2.
I did.
Okay, so for anybody who might be finding the entry process at the moment like maybe a little bit overwhelming, what advice would you give to make it as smooth as possible? I suppose we're just asking for, you know, your top tips, because just I suppose to repeat as well that the closing date for entries is the 28th, so there's another like sort of week and a half left for people to get their entries in.
Yeah, and it is a little bit daunting. I will admit that there's a lot to it, but I think that's what's good about it. It's so thorough. But I think read the whole application form before you start. Get all of your supporting materials together. You're going to need, depending on which category you go for, you may need salon reviews, may need some examples of marketing material or examples of training materials. So get that into a file, photographs of the salon, photographs of the team, get that all organized. And then when you're filling out the questions, I think be to the point, be brief, do maybe bullet points, because obviously look at the other side, they're going to be having to read through so many applications. Don't waffle.
Yeah.
Basically, keep it brief and keep it to the point, and know your why, as they always say in business. Know why you're applying, why you deserve to win, and what makes you different.
Okay, and stick, I suppose, to, I think with some of them in certain sections, there's like a word count limit.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
don't go over that.
Don't go over that. No. It's like doing your leaving cert. You won't go over it.
Yes, exactly.
There's a lot of questions.
So there was another thing I wanted to ask, because it's something that we point out when it's like, when we talk about like, the different advantages of entering these awards. We always say that like it's a really good way of almost like evaluating your own business. So we want to ask you, did completing the entry process help you to sort of like almost take a step back and look at your business from a different angle, maybe?
Yeah, it definitely did. And part of that category was doing an interview, and that was very good because it was 3 other professionals, and they asked me a lot of questions and maybe gave me some things to think about as well. And definitely, I think we're all so caught up in our businesses and we're working so hard on it on a day-to-day basis, and there's so much coming at you all the time that it's great to take a step back and actually sit down and just think and have a moment from all of the craziness to focus on it. And some structured questions like that really do make you think about it.
Okay, that's good to know, because as I said, it's something that we've told people like as well, because you can kind of get, I think, like as you said, you did an interview and you can almost within the interview get feedback from the judges in a sort of a roundabout way in the middle of the interview. Okay. Okay, so you obviously, as I keep saying, you won both of these awards. So can you maybe tell us what winning each one has done for the business? Maybe if you want to break down the business benefits of, each one separately.
Yeah, well, I think the business director one, just on a personal level, gave me great confidence. I think like everybody, if you're an owner, manager of a business, it can be quite a lonely place to be, and sometimes you don't have anyone to discuss it with, and it's lovely to have that feedback and to get some focus on where you're going and what you're doing, and know that you're doing it right, because sometimes you do doubt yourself. We all doubt ourselves. So that was lovely. It definitely increased the profile of the distribution business within the beauty industry, which is obviously fantastic for me when I'm distributing products. And the media coverage as well was huge. It was all over the media, and the local media and some of the national media, which is a great boost to any business. So that was fantastic for me. And then from the team's point of view, it was just such a boost for their morale coming out of COVID, and all of that was brilliant. And I think sometimes like that, when you're in a salon and it's crazy busy day in, day out, I tell them all the time they're great and I say thank you, but it's lovely to get recognition from your peers. And it really solidified the team as well. And then we get new customers all the time because they had seen the coverage as well. So it was very good for the business.
Brilliant. And just there, when you were talking about staff morale, did you feel that like even entering the team and then going on to win it, did it give them more like of a focus?
Yes, definitely. They were really focused, and they really wanted to win it. And so they were extremely focused, and it definitely pulled us together again. So yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
And they were so excited.
did it like, the way each person plays a different part,
Yeah,
within the business, and sometimes that's not even like, they're not even labeled. And
yeah.
did it highlight kind of what each person brought to the team?
Definitely, because I have quite a mix of different age groups and different experience, and the the girls that have been with me for a long time and have a lot of experience, they were kind of acting as mentors for the younger team members, and we did a lot of extra training, and yeah, it was very good.
Yeah. And do you feel that, I mean, I know that you have most of your staff for a long time anyway, but do you feel
Yeah,
that, winning that particular award makes your business more attractive to say to somebody that would be coming into the industry applying for jobs?
yeah.
It
Yeah,
gives them the
definitely.
edge.
I mean, I'm actually recruiting at the moment, and people always say, "Oh, you've got such a great reputation," and I know about Eden, and I've heard about Eden, and so definitely it increased the profile.
Okay, brilliant. So we will talk now a little bit about the judging process, which is quite different, as we keep pointing out.
Yeah.
It's very different to any other awards in Ireland because there is a rigorous judging process, and the judging is done by fellow industry professionals who
Yeah.
already have succeeded in their own field. So do you believe that this judging process that we have makes these awards extra special and gives them an added mark of excellence due to the way that the winners are picked?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm going to be honest, over the years, I've stayed away from a lot of awards because I don't want to be asking my customers to vote, and I don't want to be involved in popularity contests. That's not of interest to me. So I
Yeah.
love the fact that the judges, they didn't really have any preconceived ideas about any of us, and that they judged you totally on your application and your interview and your merit. And I think as a distributor, and a trainer, I've met amazing therapists working in small clinics on their own down in the country who no one will have ever heard about. A lot of the awards can be very Dublin centric as well. So I think this is great because it doesn't matter who you are and it doesn't matter where you're based. You're based on your application and how good you are, not who you know or how many people you have on Instagram following you or any of that, because a lot of those public votes is just about having a big profile. It's not necessarily about being the best clinic. So I loved that.
Yeah, and I suppose it's putting yourself forward as well,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and almost like being your own champion rather than
Yeah.
asking, as you said, all the neighborhood to vote for you.
Yeah, I just hate doing that. I'm like, I know my clients think we're great. They wouldn't be coming if they didn't. I don't want to have to keep asking them to vote for us for stuff. It just doesn't sit with me. So I preferred this absolutely. And I think it was very transparent and very fair.
Brilliant. And then I suppose we'll talk a little bit about the night itself. The big
I
night
don't
out.
remember much about that, no.
It was like, I think we were saying at the time that it was like everybody's almost first opportunity to get dressed
Yeah.
up and go out after
Yeah.
all that time being locked up. So yeah, just a little bit about maybe explaining how exciting it was winning on the night, what it was like to be at the awards and hear your name called out, and what it was like to have a night out with peers.
Well, the awards were fabulous, and the venue was beautiful. It was all really well run. We had a fantastic night. It was absolutely great for us. We work really hard, and I don't think since we reopened after COVID that we have not had a week where we haven't been fully booked. So my team are working at 100% all the time, which is brilliant for my business, but exhausting for my team. So it was lovely to step out of that and for us all to get dressed up, and we all stayed in Dublin for the night and just have time out together and have a bit of fun together. And we had great fun, and nothing can beat getting your name called out on the night. It was fantastic. And then we were the only people, I'm just going to say it, who got their name called out twice. I think we were the only company that won 2 awards, and we were so proud of that. So yeah, it's a fantastic experience, and we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay, brilliant. So what would you say to somebody who's sitting here now, tuned in, listening to you, and they still haven't gotten around to putting their entry together yet? What would you say to them now? Like, first of all, what would you say to them to encourage them to enter? And then what advice would you give them about putting the entry together?
Oh, I'd say absolutely just go and do it. I think sometimes we're so bad. I think we all have that bit of imposter syndrome who think we're not going to be as good as the person down the road. I think we just sitting down and actually having a look at the application form and thinking, what is it asking me, and what can I do, and what makes my business different? And everybody has something that makes their business unique. So it's figuring out what your unique selling point is. And then, as I said, from if you're going for any of the business ones, it's knowing your business, the financials, knowing where you're going, knowing your business style, what strategy you have. And then for the therapist ones, I think it's just really figuring out, as I said, your USP and putting that together in a very concise way.
Okay. And actually, just in terms of the choosing of the categories, for anyone who feels like they slot into maybe a number of them, would you, I know you said you didn't enter them all, you kind of honed in on 2 of them. Like what's the best way to decide, you know, which category is best for you? Is there a way of kind of measuring up the...
I think go with your gut. I mean, the minute I read them, they were the 2 that struck out to me. They were the 2 that I felt that were the most appropriate for us and that we would have the best chance of doing well in, because they were the ones that I kind of really believed in myself. So I think that way. But I think if you feel there's a couple of categories that you are suitable for, go for them. Sure, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, well, that's what we always think as well. I mean, the process in itself is a huge learning experience.
It is, yeah, it is. And it's definitely worth doing.
Okay, brilliant. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, just that it's absolutely a brilliant night, and I highly recommend that everybody applies for it.
Okay, brilliant. So thank you so much for talking to us. And we just want to remind everybody as well that, as we said, the closing date is the 28th of July. So that's Friday week. And if you go to our website, which is professionalbeauty.ie, and go to the drop-down menu to the awards section, there's 14 categories in total. And as we said, you can enter 1 or you can enter more than 1, whatever you think suits you. And the gala ceremony, by the way, takes place on the 12th of November in the Intercontinental in Dublin, which is in Ballsbridge, which should be another fabulous night out. So on that note, thank you so much for joining us, Susan. And,
not at all, thank you.
We shall talk to everybody soon, and get your entries in as quick as you can. All right, thank you.